Hello everybody and welcome to Geek of Thrones, GodisaGeek's weekly Game of Thrones podcast. This week we're talking about Season 6, Episode 6, entitled Blood of My Blood. My name's Dan Murphy and joining me today, as ever, is Mr. Chris White. Chris, how is it going?
It's going alright, mate. Not too bad at all. Yourself?
Apart from the fact I've got an exam on Friday, and then another one on Saturday, and then another one on the Friday after that, and then I'm going to going for E3 on that Friday. It's going to be a bit of a stressful week coming up. But apart from that, I'm doing okay. Good. We'll see how okay I am after the 2 exams next week. But no doubt Game of Thrones will be there to pull me through. Yeah. So Blood of My Blood. What do you think of it?
I liked it. Obviously, it's not as chaotic as the last few but it was still very good, and it's very much leading on to something. It kind of built a lot of stories. It moved a lot on. We're going to talk about it later, but we got to see more of Arya, that kind of story. That was interesting. We got to see a lot more of Sam and Gilly. And it's kind of given us a few more questions that we'll talk about later, which is quite interesting. But I quite enjoyed it. It was quite a good episode.
Yes, I think it's definitely like I said, it was no big event. It wasn't like a big event episode. Like This is probably the type of episode you don't really remember when you think back in 2 years' time or whatever. But I thought the pace of it was really good. It's got so many things skidding off into the right direction. It's got a lot of things, like I said, the Arya stuff, and a couple of things that felt a little like they were dragging the heels a bit. It's got them moving quite a pace. Yeah. And even though like, there's no deaths no current deaths, or should I say, there's one death which we'll come to, but no deaths in the current timeline.
No. Couple of returns as well.
Exactly, yeah. So there's no deaths, there's nothing big, but like I said, the amount of revelations that have happened, the amount of reveals, the amount of returns. It's quite a massive fucking episode, really, with the amount of significant stuff that have happened.
Oh yeah, I think
it's just all set up, really.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but it just feels completely different to the last few series. It's just so much is happening. I don't know whether because it's coming to an end or what, but it's just so well paced, and it doesn't feel rushed at all. It's just quite continually moving forward very well.
Yeah.
So
I think. As I said, I think Season 5 on its own was a whole like a deep breath, and leading to this one that was like the exhale.
Yeah, definitely.
And this episode was like a mini breath in between it. Like, There's very much setting the board for the last 4 episodes, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Well, with that out of the way, shall we get stuck in?
Let's do it.
Because actually, like I said, there's surprisingly a lot to get through. And tell you what, they've gone back again because they've started splitting scenes up. They go to a place, then come back. You know what I mean? Like It's like they'll set a seed for the beginning of a scene, and they'll come back to it. They've started doing that in the last 2 episodes, which they didn't do at the start. Which I think I prefer it a bit more.
Yeah, I do.
It says swifter pace type thing. Anyway, scene 1. Mira is dragging Bran through the woods in the immediate aftermath of last week's episode. She's struggling. She's given up. Meanwhile, Bran is having a series of visions, which we'll go into in depth at the end. But it's pretty much seems like he's learning everything, isn't he? He's getting info dump of everything that's ever happened. Yeah. It's too much to process everything at the minute, but he's learning everything. And and then he wakes up without effort, which took me off so guard. I didn't expect that, but he awakens. Tells Mira that they found them. It's looking like they're done for when a mystery figure, who could it possibly be? couldn't tell through his eyes at all. Mystery figure turns up. He has a weird fire mace ball type thing and a nice scythe, and he kills the whites in a badass fashion, setting them on fire.
Cool as fuck, definitely.
And then he whisks them away to safety. I said it was cool. I did think it was a little schlocky. Like I thought how they killed them was cool, but it seemed a little schlocky. I think it was the music.
Yeah, I did like it. It
seemed unnecessarily creepy.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, but it was just cool. We all knew it was coming. You kind of pretty much nailed it with how, which obviously we'll talk about when they're in it again. But it was cool to see him again, and it was dead clear who it was because you can tell. Exactly,
and that's why. There's a lot of story plots in the books, like how people disguise themselves, and you can do it in the books, but you can't do it in the show, really, because it's a mystery to everyone else, but everyone in watching is just like, oh, that's Barristan Selmy, that's Benjen. Obviously, he's not, and I'm glad they've done it like this. Can I say, I fucking love Nera Reid. She's amazing.
Yeah.
All she's done for Bran, and she's still apologising when she thinks she's failed.
I know.
Like, she's such a cutie. I love her.
She'll find a reward at the end, towards the end. Something good will come.
Yeah, she's a good character. She deserves. Well, you know, we all talk about what people get what they deserve, and
No,
usually
I know,
don't.
but they just feel that they will with her. I don't think, and even if she was to die, it wouldn't be it being, you know, for a good reason. But I don't think she's gonna. But no, she's ace.
Have you got anything else to say on this before we go into the vision?
No, because the meat of it is the vision. So
Right, well, let's get in. There's a total of 59 different shots in his visions. A lot of them are repeats, but let's talk about the main stuff. So basically, Bran's doing all this. He's learning. He doesn't, not as if he's processed it, but he knows at least. So he knows that dragons are back in the world for definitely, because Daenerys has them.
Yeah.
He knows how White Walkers are made, obviously.
Yeah.
And I put that as in new White Walkers with the baby.
Yeah.
He has seen how his family died, so he sees Ned getting decapitated, and he I don't know if he knew about Catelyn and Robb, probably not, but he's seen them dead, and he knows how they died.
Yeah.
He saw a wildfire explosion in King's Landing. Now, this is a weird thing, because could he be seeing the future? Because I'm pretty sure nothing of this has happened, because he looked inside in the catacombs.
Yeah.
Is he seeing a little bit of the future here, like
I
a glimpse
the
of the future?
I thought the same, to be fair, because there was things in these flashbacks that were from the past and things we hadn't seen before, but looked kind of as if they were from the future.
Well,
so
yeah, the only other thing
definitely.
that looks like it could be in the future in this is a dragon over King's Landing and the Shadow, which is from his season 4 vision.
Yeah.
So I don't know if maybe it's just like a subtle hint that he had glimpsed in the future, but he doesn't know if it's the future yet because he has no context for it at all yet. If you get me.
And we don't know if these flashbacks are literally how they look to us is how they look to him. Like, we don't know if they're all like flitting around and he's trying to piece them together or what, but
yeah, exactly.
He's getting all these ideas of what's happened, and clear things like his father being beheaded is obviously clear what that is, but there are other things that are all over the place that maybe he doesn't know yet, and he's seeing them like we're seeing them.
Yeah, and it's funny you mention that, because one of the ones that was sneakily hidden, most hidden, I didn't see it, so I went through it, but we see young Ned say, "Where's my sister?" and then the next cut for literally half a second is a bloody hand near a woman's hand. Now, the going theory is that the cufflink or the gauntlet on this hand is young Ned's. It's the same one. A woman's hand, and there's a wound that looks like it's on her belly. Has Lyanna been given a C-section by the third Kingsguard, who should have been at the battle but wasn't, and to get to to let her children be born?
Yeah, definitely. Because I looked into the kind. I watched the visions again. And then I read up on it and noticed that there was indeed that hand. So, yeah, I think that's definitely Lyanna. Definitely was given a C-section.
I think it would make a lot of sense, because I know it was meant to be 8 versus 3 at the battle, and it was only 6 versus 2. So it doesn't necessarily make sense as to why there was only 6. But I still think the third Kingsguard might be in the tower helping Lyanna.
I think that they were there. Yeah, definitely. They were up there anyway, looking after her, because she from the screams, she's either had the baby or she's given birth like then and there. So there'll be someone there. So I think that's where the third god was. Definitely. So yeah.
Now the most pivotal scene of all, I think, in this, or like the biggest and the best, the thing we've not seen, shall we say, the thing we've most not seen, was we see the Mad King.
Yeah. That was cool.
He
screaming, "Burn them all!"
Yeah, he looks exactly like Viserys did, but older.
Yeah.
I was expecting a bit more of a beard and like long nails and a bit more mad looking, but I think if he did that, he'd look too Lord of the Ringsy, so I can forgive. But we see the Mad King screaming, "Burn them all," and then we see Jaime killing him and sitting on the throne, which is quite big. And I said we see "Burn them all," and then I think conspicuously during the last vision, which is the Whites storming Hardhome, we hear a faint "Burn them all" over the background. Could this be a little subtle hint towards that it was Bran or the Three-Eyed Raven showing him these White Walkers, making him say "burn them all," which made him mad? Or was he just simply a fucking nutter, because Targaryens are known to be nutters?
I think the writers know full well what they're doing. I think it's definitely a nod to what's going to happen, but also they're not idiots. They know people will be dissecting
could be a red
these
herring
scenes.
at the same.
Yeah,
same
exactly.
breath.
Yeah, so we'll take it on face value and we'll see what happens. But there's definitely a hint, definitely.
So is there any other visions specifically you want to talk about? Because I think there's a lot there. Like, there's mostly that the Burn Them All King was the biggest one we've seen, like Jaime taking the throne, which we all knew kind of happened, but I said it could have been gone down differently and stuff like that.
No, for me it was all about the kind of flashbacks to the Tower of Joy and the Mad King. Like, I was really impressed with that because I wasn't expecting it. When you started to see the visions, you were just seeing things you'd seen. But yeah, I love that scene. It was just really well put together.
Yeah,
good
it
editing.
mashed well. How quick I did not see it coming when it was running, and then because I think Burn Them All was pretty soon in the first one. I was like, fucking whoa, did not see this coming.
Yeah.
I did, but not in that type of way.
Yeah.
What else will Bran learn then? And I want to know, do you think he'll learn about Littlefinger betraying Ned, and obviously Littlefinger's north-ish? So could that be Littlefinger's downfall? Could he, swing in, help Jon and Sansa win, but then Bran turns up at the wall and tells him that he's the one who killed our dad?
Definitely. I think the aim is to get them together, isn't it? I think that they'll get Bran back to Sansa and Jon, and it'll go down. He knows everything, and he will know everything. He's learned everything so fast, and if those flashbacks are full memories for each one that is now implanted in his brain, then the Littlefinger that'll all kind of come out. That's what I'm saying. Like, he'll know everything. He's not going to let anyone deceive the Starks again or anybody. He's a clever guy, and he's going to learn it all, and he's going to kind of fuck him over. And that's why I think we'll still see Littlefinger's end this season.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah, you did put that. I'm pretty sure you were the one who's thinking he's going to get cut. I was just like, I think I was
but then
he's like the
I also
Grandmaster.
said Cersei as well. So
I do think you have cause to believe Cersei at this point. To be honest with you.
But we'll see. Yeah, but yeah. No,
more King's Landing when we get to it.
Yeah, definitely.
There's a lot to talk about there. Sam and Gilly are en route to Hornhill. Gilly rightly detects his nervousness as he goes on about trees. And I loved Sam just going, a person just doesn't feel welcome at that point. He seems like in good confidence, and he seems happy.
Yeah.
Sam tells her not to reveal she's a wildling and all that. And then we see Hornhill, which is mighty
fucking
impressive.
beautiful.
Yeah. There was a lot of, like, furore of that, House Tarly has such a big house, like a big castle, but the Reach is, which we know we're finally seeing the Reach for the first time. It's the richest part of the kingdom because apart from before the king, or was it called the Rocklands or whatever, the Westerlands, before they lost all the gold. So it is probably the richest part of the kingdom now. It's the most plentiful in terms of food and growing stuff. And I think Tarleys are pretty much the second or third biggest house in that area. Yeah. Because how good a general Randall is.
Yeah.
But anyway. And the Sam and Gilly turn up. We see Sam's mother and sister, who are both lovely people, and it's easy to see where Sam gets his persona from.
Sam's good
Little
nature.
Sam's, Little Sam's cute as anything, and I think it's Tala. So are we going with Tala?
Yes. Yeah. Good name.
Can't be Tala. Fuck me. Or Tala. Shit names either way. Say she'll get Gilly a dress. So like all nice little introductions and whatnot, and I think like I said, it's a grand old place, but more around.
But you just knew that it was gonna get worse.
Yeah, you can say his immediate concern, like where's father?
Like, where's father?
Like he's the boogeyman or something.
But you know something bad's gonna happen with what he's told us about. Well, what he's told Gilly about his dad. Well, he doesn't even tell him. He just says he kind of skips past it on the ship over. He doesn't really talk about his father. We know he's a bad man. And fucking hell.
Yeah, we'll learn. Like I said, this scene and the next scene are both kind of set up scenes, so we'll skip through. So Tommen and the High Sparrow are talking about Margie's walk at the Solomon in Grand Bedar set, and then High Sparrow says he's devoted. Marjorie's devoted to the gods and will allow Tommen to see her. Marjorie talks in a good way about the High Sparrow to Tommen, how he helped her to see who she is and all that. She says she won't she wasn't as good as she believed to be. She was only doing it to get seen doing it. She talks a bit about letting go of sins and whatnot, and the gods, and her brother has to atone for his sins and all that jazz. I think it's best talking about all this in one after.
I agree.
But there's a lot of mind games getting played at this point.
God, oh God,
there's people playing people, getting played by people. So I think it's best to just talk it all over. Later. But it's sad to see you still don't like High Sparrow friend.
Oh my God, no. But what I will say, and it's kind of just on this scene alone, is that from the last scene with Marjorie and Loras, she seems her mind's changed very much since that episode, and that's you're talking about mind games, so yeah,
that's the telltale sign, isn't
exactly,
it?
yeah. So
right, shall we move swiftly on?
Yeah, let's do it.
Back to Hornhill. Sam is looking nervous, and Gilly turns up in her new dress, all clean, struggling to walk, and looks fairly stunning. To be fair, so you can tell how much everyone's been putting work in to make her not look it for the past 4 years, or whatever.
Okay, hell yeah.
And then he takes her arm, and they walk in together to potentially the most awkward dinner scene ever.
Fucking hell, it was.
So you can just tell from the off that Randall is just a massive cunt. Like, he's just eating with a scorn in his face.
It's vile. It's horrible.
Perfectly cast. Everything. You can just tell. So Sam and Dickon, his brother's literally called Dickon, talk about hunting, and I think this is an interesting scene because it perfectly sums up. So like Sam's saying, did you kill this today? And there's like, no, this is last week, so the one we killed today isn't ready yet.
Yeah, we've not killed it, yeah.
And then he says, I don't think Dickon's a dick. I think he's just misunderstanding it and wants to. I think he's bringing up hunting or like talking about hunting, along with Sam to make it look like he asked him, does he kill at the wall to make him look better for his dad? But obviously Sam's only killed rabbits and that and then they misinterpret that saying that's all they can hunt. Like, because he's not good enough when that's all there fucking is.
Yeah.
And then...
Yeah, definitely.
How do I explain it? And then how he asks why do they... he asks, is it from today's hunt? Because he's only used to killing and eating straight away. There's no, marinading it in a week in age-old oaks or whatnot. Yeah. That's what they're used to survive, which is why when it's later it's a bit frustrating when Sam doesn't speak out about this type of stuff. He doesn't explain more about the wall. But not when it comes anyway. I also listed a funny line of Tyler saying Randall should be more like Craster, which is quite amusing.
Yeah.
So Sam is about to hit the extra bread bucket, as we all do, when Randall comes out with the fat burns, and Sam's immediately like, "Oh God, here we go." Gilly is pissed, and as Randall talks, and he's got a great voice. It's such scorn and posh, but equal. Like it's like sand. It's like sand silk or something, like sandpaper made out of silk. Yeah. It's like posh, but you just could fucking sharpen a blade with it. And he just shows he's such a disgust at Sam for wanting to be a maester, saying you should be doing stuff, not reading about better men and all that. Yeah. Then Gilly comes to his defence. Saying he kills a White Walker and a Fen, but in turn, in her rightful fury, he lets it drop that she is a wildling, and then I think it says a lot about Randall that he doesn't even care enough about Sam to even deny that he killed a White Walker. Doesn't even care enough to say it's a lie. Yeah. He only cares that Gilly is from north of the wall, and then he goes off on one, fuming, saying that. Basically calling Sam for everything and not being a man, and then getting back at him for marrying a wildling or whatever. And then, Sam just sits there meekly as then the mother takes Gilly away. In fairness, she is from House Florent, which is like the other big house in the Reach, and she so she can have she isn't some powerless wench, if you get me. No. She can shout back, and she does so. She defends her children, tells him he's a cunt, basically, and they walk out, and then so obviously Randall brings up the sword as well, which may I say fucking called it. Yeah, are you not annoyed that Sam explains it in the next scene why he doesn't, but should he have fought back here? Should he have said something?
I think by provoking his father further, it could have led to something worse. Like I don't know whether he's beaten him as a child. We don't know what happened, but his brother would he's meek. He was just sitting there. He's equally as afraid of his father as he is. But for some reason, I'm assuming because of his size and the way he looks and the kind of good nature of Sam, he hates him for it. I don't know. It's just a typical kind of scenario with those kind of people in power, and like they go hunting. They've got a sword. Every son should be strong and powerful and come on the hunt with them. No one's allowed to use their brains. It's all about how strong they are, and Sam isn't like that, and he never will be, and he'll never appreciate his son regardless. So I don't blame Sam for not fighting back. He's a good person, and obviously we see where he goes with it, but I don't blame him for not fighting back in that situation. As much as I'd love for him to be like that, I'm glad he didn't, just for his own sake. So
I think we did get his moment of right. I'm going a spine later on, but I still feel like in that scene, I don't think Dickon's, like I said, I don't think Dickon's being mean. I think he likes Sam, and I didn't think he'd be like that. Actually, I thought he would be a dick, but he's not. Like, he clearly likes his
definitely.
dad too.
Yeah,
like they have that embrace over him shooting one from 70 yards or whatever.
Yeah,
but it's just that, like saying, like when they hunt, they're hunting leisurely, like. They don't have to kill anything at all. They can take the time to kill a deer from 70 yards away and all that type of stuff. Whereas, they have to hunt to survive. And Sam's, like I said, Gilly is right. Like, she's a bit dumb how she reveals what's going on. But Sam's, I don't see how he doesn't see. Like, we all know he's still fat and everything, but it's like Randall should look at his son, and obviously he's never going to do that. But like, he's married someone beautiful, like for that world, you get me? He has survived beyond the wall for probably months, if not a year. Killed, defended, become a trusted near leader of the Night's Watch, become loyal to his post and to his friends, and he's grown so much. I think the point is that Sam doesn't display it because he's so terrified of his dad because of, it's if you get emotionally abused by your parents and you've got to go back there for the first time in 2 years, you're going to revert back to that former self. So it's not a criticism of Sam, it's just like, no, come on mate, you can do it. Like as Gilly says, you're not what he says he says you are. So it's really well done. I thought the scene could have fallen flat, and it's brilliant.
No, and it kind of reflects that blind hatred of any other, like real world. Like there'll be certain people that don't like kind of like a white man going out with a black woman for no real reason other than the fact that's probably what they've been raised on, and then the real beliefs in that get lost in why the hate's actually there, and it's just hatred for a reason, and that didn't help him at all. The fact that he's with a wildling, so it was a nice reflection on real life as well, and that there's no need for hatred like that, but when someone is that kind of person, it will never go away.
But I thought Randall was fucking amazingly casted.
Yeah.
The actor's called James Faulkner, and he just nailed it completely. Just exactly how I imagined him being.
Yes.
Just head of the table, stern, just evil. Like that voice, man. Just
booming.
They'd make a man out of you. It's just like, oh, so good. Next up, they're in the bedroom, and Sam tells Gilly he didn't speak out because he was scared they would send him away. He gives Meek like an emotional farewell. I think it's weird how he wouldn't have even spent his last night with him. But anyway. Then he bursts straight back in and says they're leaving. He's finally growing his backbone. He says, I like the I don't have any things line from Gilly. Just like, that's the type of humour I like. Just
subtle.
And he said, he says he wants to stay. He wants to stay them to stay all together. He goes down. He takes Heartsbane. The Valyrian Steel Sword, which I so duly predicted in the fucking preview.
Yeah, no, fair play, you did.
Not how I expected it to go.
But it happened.
But it happened, and I fucking, like, as soon as they pointed out it's his sword, and it's a Valyrian Steel Sword, I was like, yes! I knew it.
Yeah, and, it was fucking cool. How he just was like, fuck it, I'm taking it.
Yeah. Do you know what I find interesting as well? Like, how Dickon laughed at the White Walkers, and that Randall didn't even acknowledge it, and that how they have the most, their most dangerous weapon so far away from reach. How they just don't know what's coming. They have no idea in the absolute slightest what's going to come.
I know. This is the thing with everywhere though. Like no one really knows what's going on. Everyone's concentrating more on the most menial of things when they realise it's going to change everything. But you're right. They've just not got a clue. No one's got a clue.
Mm-hmm. So, where is Big Sam going with the sword and his family? They all know he's going to the Citadel, so that's a logical place. But then they're going to follow him. So, what's his next play?
Back to the wall?
It could do, because if he leaves a note saying he's going back to the wall, he goes back with the Valyrian steel sword, and his dad comes after him with his brother, and let's say he brings a small force with him, because it's a priceless family heirloom, and he gets back to the wall with him on this trail all the way. He's got one of the best commanders, well, the best commander in the Seven Kingdoms, and his small army at the wall, with a Valyrian steel sword, just in time for that wall to come down and see what's happening. So that'd be a good play if he did that.
So I could see him.
Yeah.
Really, like, I just something about Sam. Like I get exactly why he wants to be a maester, but Sam's such a good-hearted person. He mentions Jon in the scene. I can imagine him wanting to go back to Jon with the steel because he knows about the White Walkers. So
exactly. And like if he leads a merry goose chase all the way back up, and he gets his dad, I think it would be a good play for him to do that.
Definitely.
It probably doesn't get caught on the way, but again. He wants to be a maester, doesn't he? And I could see him still going to Old Town and that, maybe getting to the Citadel where he's safe because they can't get in. But I could see Dickon catching him, but then letting him go with it. Because I don't think Dickon is a dick.
No, he's not.
I do think he'll get him and then just let him go. That or he ends up killing Randall, which would be sweet justice, but weird in the same way.
Yeah, I think that's.
Is it gentricide when you kill your father? Well,
I think that they might come looking for it at some point, but it's not going to be next few episodes. I just think
I don't think we'll see it the next episode, but the next scene we see of them, I think they're definitely coming for it. It's it's priceless family sword, and they've got literally nothing else on at the minute, so I think they'd send everyone to go and get it.
Yeah,
and that's why it might be good for him to send a goose chase up north where
definitely.
Then he's sending his family back into the danger he wanted to take him away from. So, but really good stuff. And he said it could go either way. Sam's probably one of the characters who's got the most up. You don't know where he's going yet.
No,
I think that's interesting.
Just before we move on, I think with the having the sword now, talking about the walkers, he realises that maybe that's more important right now.
Maybe.
So I think to head back north to give Jon the sword makes sense, but we'll see.
I said he was sent north to learn more about how to kill him, didn't he? And like Stannis said, keep reading, which is interesting. How another great commander appreciated him and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's all good. I'm liking it a lot. Yeah. Anyway, next up we have a new play, and this time we're getting Joff's death. More lols. Arya literally pissing herself at his death, much to the disgust of everyone around. And then Lady Crane does an emotional Cersei speech, which affects everyone, including Arya. Is there a sense of compassion coming back from our young demon mistress woman?
Possibly. I don't know. It was a weird one. Don't know.
Bear with me while I find my notes.
Yeah, no worries.
And then we have Tyrion killing Tywin, and this was a nod to the books, how he says, does he shit gold? Because I think in the books, when he kills Tywin, because he's on the shitter, he literally opens his bowels, and Tyrion says, oh, he doesn't shit gold or something, which would have been quite a shit, it would have been quite unclassy for Tywin if it happened in the show, so I'm glad they didn't do it, but this was a nice nod. I'm surprised they didn't have literally a couple of gold rocks that they threw out after the shitting thing into the crowd. That'd be quite funny with how the practical effects they do and stuff. But anyway, Arya goes backstage and she's looking into the mirror trying to decide if she can go through with it, and she does go through with it until she's trying to leave when she bumps into Lady Crane, who drags her over, starts talking about the troop and her past, etc. She seems very kind and eloquent. And then she says the writing's no good, which I thought was quite a nice line. Then Arya tells her to change it. The speech talks about it seems at first like she knows Cersei incredibly well, but it's actually like she's talking about herself and how she felt, and then how, when she saw Ned being killed and all that type of stuff, and her own family. And then I think Lady Crane drops the bombshell of, does she like being other people? And then she thinks, no, she does not. She says her father is waiting for her. Is the Kindle to get revenge once again lit?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's quite clear from what happens that she's going back to the list, isn't she?
Mm-hmm. But there's a great scene with, is it Richard E. Grant? Yeah, going mad about about his troop rebelling. Oh, Lady Crane wants to change a few things. When Arya breaks the glass and warns Lady Crane about Bianca, who is the young actress who wants her killed, then Waif is waiting in the wings, as she wants to do, the little evil fucker.
Yeah.
Then Arya gets Needle, as Waif talks to Jaqen, who allows her to kill Arya, which, then we get a pretty grim shot of him flaying her face, which is a nice way to find out how they kill, how they get their faces. Arya's in a cave and blows out a candle. So, is she going to fight the Waif in the dark? Because, remember, she bested her when she was blind, and, with the stick. So, is she going to fight her in the darkness? Because that's where she's better and she can get the upper hand.
Yeah.
And obviously has the point.
Oh, definitely. And that'll happen next episode, definitely. I fucking hope so, because that Waif's a bitch. Well,
I think it's episode 8, because there's new title names, and the title name of that episode would lead to it being that.
Okay.
Do you think the episode should have ended with Arya blowing out this candle as well?
Yeah, possibly. I think it was fine where it was. I think that it would have been alright, but I don't know if it was kind of bombastic enough.
It's not that this wasn't. It's not like this was bad where this was. It's like what the ending actually was.
I think with the ending of how it was a bit kind of alright, okay, a bit predictable. It wouldn't have been a bad ending to have Arya blow out the candle. But I think for kind of the way the episode ends, it's more of a talking point, isn't it? I don't know. But the couple of things I wanted to mention about the scene with the play. It was interesting to see how the play goes towards like being pro Lannister. Like everyone's crying, whereas Arya's like pissing herself.
Yeah, and like they're sweet and innocent.
Yeah,
and sad and that, and Tyrion's the villain. And they say something like, "I'm coming for you across the Narrow Sea." So it's common knowledge that he's in Marine.
Yeah.
Which I thought was quite
interesting. I was shocked about it. I wasn't surprised.
They all think he's a villain and all that.
Yeah, I know, which he clearly isn't. But as I say, like that's how this kind of propaganda, isn't it? That's how they're spinning it. But the other bit was cool when she asks Arya how many times she's seen the play, and she says 3 times. But obviously she's only seen it twice. But she's witnessed her dad being beheaded. So So that's like the third. Do you know what I mean?
That's fucking. That's a great shout.
To be fair, my wife noticed it. I was like, oh my god, yeah. So yeah, I thought that was really cool.
Great,
idea behind it.
Reddit. I've trolled Reddit for the past 3 days, and I've not seen one person pick that up. So that's a great show. Yeah, brilliant. Yeah. There's a really nice framing actually when she's walking down the steps.
Yeah.
There's like the Iron Thrones behind her, and it perfectly outlines it, and then Ned's head. The Ned head models in front.
Yeah.
It's like this linkage, man. I think. See, there's part of me that kind of hopes that Arya gets a bit more compassion now. Like she's come through this, and she like more understanding of other people's emotions and decisions. But in the same breath, you just want to see her get control back and be done with this thing that didn't. She was sold a dream which wasn't true.
So it just seems like a hell of a way to get round to where she is now, to spend this amount of time, and I just feel that I just hope it's not as it's not as clear, because it just seems too simple and but also it's wasted. It's not wasted time. It's just gone a long way around of getting to where they are. So I've got a feeling
it feels like if you imagine a train track. So it's going straight on. It feels like it's taken a loop because it had to drop off people in small towns, and then it's going straight forward again.
Yeah, definitely. But I'm happy with where she is now. I like the fact that she's just, she's stock. She'll never forget where she came from. She can't forget where she came from. She can't forget about the list.
Yeah.
Well,
I was going to ask you. You said you was wanting it a bit more. It's too simple. So, Waif doesn't seem like she's keeping up with the no one mantra. She's had it in from Arya from day one. She's asked permission to kill Arya. She seems like she's got this grudge against her for no reason. She's clearly not following this mantra of being no one. So is this all... Jaqen's realised all of this? And when he said, like, 2 episodes ago, when he said a girl has a point, needle, pointy end, etc. Is it a test for both of them? And, like, if Arya's going to end up killing Waif, but then Jaqen will be behind us, then Jaqen will come and, like, well done, you passed, what do you want to do?
Yes, definitely.
Or something like that.
I completely agree. I think Jaqen isn't just letting go. He's not giving up. It's not about giving up. He knows exactly what's going on. Maybe it was about testing the Waif all along. I don't know.
Maybe.
But I think it's definitely not as obvious as it seems. I don't think they'd spend this much time with.
Yeah, I think there has to be a twist on it.
And I just think the kind of the circus. Well, they're not the circus. The kind of the actors and stuff. That we were talking about how there's more to them than just acting in this play. That they could be linked to the whole thing as well. So
yeah, there's a possibility.
I think you're completely right.
It's so heavy-handed with how Lady Crane said you like pretending to be other people. It seems almost too obvious that they're intertwined with it.
Definitely.
But in the same, and I know they are actors, they're meant to do acting and stuff. But in the same breath, I kind of think that the troop will be a way out back home. Because I've got a wee theory that maybe Walder Frey holds. I don't know how it'd work with how all the stuff's that happen in the Riverlands now. But I kind of like the idea of Walder Frey having another wedding, hiring the troop to come and perform at it, and Arya's with the troop and kills him.
Wow. I've got... Well, oh God. We'll talk about... I've got another theory on Arya about the wedding and stuff. But yeah, we'll talk about that later. But no, it's awesome. It's good to see Arya in this light. I'm pleased.
I do think there'll be a twist on it. But it can't just be she kills her and leaves. I do think it could be that she kills her, and leaves her body in front of the face, the Hall of Black and White, and that's like, alright, that's another face added to the hall, that's fine, you can go. But I feel like there needs to be a twist to it. I think to keep the mystique of this House of Black and White, in it Jaqen or someone, Lady Crane needs to be Jaqen or someone, or something like that. Something else needs to happen, there needs to be a twist to it.
I just, quickly, and I won't give too much away, because I think we'll need to give an alert to the listeners.
Okay.
But I think they will indeed probably go to the Riverlands. Arya will end up killing Walder, but she'll be wearing a face. To do so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there more in depth to that, or do you want
there is, but it's...
We'll talk about it when we get...
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So, next up, Jaime is waiting for the Tyrell army to turn up, and look, Mace Tyrell, Mace the Ace, looks dope as fuck. And but same breath, he has someone leading his horse, which just implies that he's so incompetent that he can't ride his own horse. Yeah. Do you know there's a theory going about called Mace the Ace theory?
No.
And the theory is that Mace, all this time, is just playing a fucking idiot, been playing the dope, just being in the background, acting so incompetent that nobody takes him seriously. When in fact he's actually the best ruler in Thingy, because he's the only one who's like the only lord from like season 1 who's still going, hasn't died. He's the small council been in position on 2 different, master of ships, master of coins. He helped negotiate at the Iron Bank to get the money back or whatever it was. He's the leader, the official leader of the richest house, the richest land in the fucking kingdom.
Yeah.
And there's a theory that he's been playing dumb all along. And he's going to surprise everyone and be really smart or something. I doubt it somehow.
I fucking hate that.
It'd be funny as fuck, but I doubt it somehow.
I'll piss everyone off.
Yeah, I think it's pretty clear that the women control that house.
Yeah.
Which
oh God.
We'll come to.
Yeah.
So he gives a pretty good. I thought it was a pretty good speech, but Jaime just couldn't be fucking bothered listening to it.
But Jaime's like, keep your fucking voice down. Like, he just kind of was looking at him like, just get on with it.
I thought he was like that. I thought he was like, oh yeah, keep his voice down. That's a good one. I thought he was like, can we get going?
Yeah, yeah.
And then he just gets no reaction from the fucking soldiers, just silence.
Yeah.
But it was a good speech.
Oh,
but
no,
you can tell he spent 4 weeks writing it in the same breath.
Yeah.
Oh man. So the Sparrow is doing his spiel, but in come the army, and so's Olenna. I love how she just rocks up.
Fucking cool, yeah.
In fact, you know the handmaiden next to her?
Yeah.
She looks a lot like Sarah Flowers, which is Mira's mate in the Game of Thrones game.
Ah, right.
Nice another little link.
Yeah.
Might not actually be her, but links and all that. Marjorie looks a bit concerned as they walk in, as if she didn't expect it.
Yeah.
And the High Sparrow, again, he looks a bit weird as well. But then Jamie threatens, he rides up the steps, which apparently did that himself, Nicola Costa-Waldau.
Really?
Which is badass. Yeah, that looked dangerous.
Fucking hell. Oh, yeah.
Really cool. He's threatening him, but the High Sparrow just doesn't care. It looks like things will come to blows when he plays his trump card, and out comes Tommen with new Kingsguard armour. And there's been an alliance between the Crown and the Faith. Jamie is fuming, and the common people are loving it. Now, it's obvious that this was planned for a while, because as you pointed out, Marjorie hasn't got a haircut, so she's obviously never doing the walk. And the Kingsguard's armour's been made now with the fat 7-pointed star on it.
Yeah.
So, this is where we delve into who's playing who and what. It looks like the High Sparrow thinks he's won. He's got the smug look on his face, and it's obvious now that he doesn't really care about religion, because if he did, he'd still make her do the walk.
Yep.
Her sins wouldn't be atoned for getting someone on his side. So it's clearly, it's religion when it best fits.
Yep.
But is Marjorie doing all this behind him? She's obviously made Tommen come in, as we know, as he knows, but then is she faking and all this to make it look like she's doing it? Is she playing it? She looks concerned, because I don't think she thought that the army were coming for her. So she's like, I could have just fucking not done all this. I could have not gone to all this effort.
Yeah.
But she had to. She did it, and it was already done. I think she may have regretted it after, but in the same breath, she's now got control of Tommen, because she's fit as fuck, and he is a 14-year-old lad who has control of the High Sparrow in the same breath, who are linked, so she's still trying to hold the power.
Yeah. So...
And she wanted to stop it to get Loris out, so... so many people playing each other.
Oh, God. But it's quite clear that Tommen is being fucking played by...
He's being ripped apart. If you remember, Cersei was her concern, like to Tywin in Season 4 or whatever, was you and Marjorie will rip him apart. And this is what's happening now with the Sparrow and Marjorie.
Yeah.
It's just like... they're ripping him apart by just playing him and manipulating him.
Yeah.
And he's just a decent lad who wants to do the right thing and doesn't want there to be conflict.
Yeah, as much as
he's a fucking idiot.
I hate him for doing this, he's just fucking naive. He's a naive kid who's just forced. The crown's been forced upon him.
Yeah. Do you know what's an interesting thing as well?
What's that?
Remember when Joffrey died and Tywin was telling him what makes a good ruler?
What did he say?
The first thing he said before being prompted was holiness.
Ah.
So it's interesting.
Okay.
And there's loads of stuff, but I think Marjorie is playing it all. I think she's master at this game. We've seen her do it with kings and everything. I think she could. Maybe the High Sparrow's meant to be good enough to look through it.
So maybe he is. Maybe
again, maybe he knows that she's playing it, so he's playing it back.
I think she is trying to play him with Tommen. She thinks she's got it, but there'll be some revelation or something at the end, and he'll fucking do her over. You're right about the whole religion thing. It might be more than a religious thing. There might be it might be a con man, a really fucking good con man, that just wants to get into power, and there's be something.
Did I tell you the theory of that he might be Howland Reed?
No. There's
a theory, and I can't be bothered going into it because it's fucking massive.
Yeah.
It's probably very unlikely.
That's what I'll read into it. Yeah.
If there's a good YouTube video, if you YouTube, HR equals HS. It explains it all, but it's very unlikely. But there is a theory that Howland Reed has gone on a quest to become the High Septon and do all this in King's Landing to dislodge it and get revenge for Ned. Which could be, like, if you're thinking he's a con man, that could be it. But it's very unlikely. Yeah, it's weird. But then I've got another theory of what could be happening with the plane thing, but I'll save that for later.
Okay.
But, man, it's mad. It's an episode that not much happened, but we're in 44 minutes and just halfway through. It's mad. There's a scene in Series 4 where Marjorie says, when she's picking out the jewellery for Joffrey's wedding, she says something like, I could end up with a necklace of dead sparrows around my neck. foreshadowing to the nth degree if she's still trying to play it and just doing it until she's needed and then strike the final blow on them.
Yeah.
But were you annoyed that no conflict did happen here?
Yeah, of course. But because I want it. I just fucking hate them. I want it resolved. I get why, because they're kind of leading on to something big at the end. But I'm just kind of done with this now. I just want to see Sparrow get get slaughtered, especially by Jamie. Because Jamie's one of my favourite characters. I just feel bad for him. I just want them to fucking do him over. But with his speech in the next, in a minute, it kind of it sounds like it's going to kind of go down a bit.
Yeah.
So
I was annoyed that it didn't come to conflict. 'Cause that's what it's been building towards. But I think it wasn't cheap how they got rid of it. I think it happened in a natural way, and it was like the political manoeuvrings of season 1 and 2 when people manoeuvre to fuck other people. And I think it was good. I still maintain that we hate the Sparrow because he's fucking the characters we love. But he's the good guy. Even if he's going for power himself and he's been a hypocrite, he's still loved by the people and doing stuff for the people, isn't he?
Yeah, but
we should be backing him, really. Like, he's probably the most noble guy fighting for the common people in all this, really.
Yeah.
He's just a dick to the people we like, so we don't like him.
Yeah, I just don't like people leading with fear. It just annoys me.
Well, religion.
I think, but he's only doing that to the people that, as you say, that we love. Like the people in the like the King's Landing are not seeing all that. They're seeing someone who's removing power from the bad and giving it to the good.
Exactly. So. That's why I think, like I said, if this was a story, if we'd been seeing the High Sparrow from season 1, we'd be fucking loving it right now. This would be the greatest victory we've had. Yeah. I just find it's quite funny how perspectives can be turned.
Yeah.
Next up, Jamie is ripping off his armour and he's left the Kingsguard. He's been sent away. I thought, I think Tommen's doing this for his own good because maybe he would have had to do the sins and stuff. But nice to see the Iron Throne
as well.
It's and it's Kevin. Maybe Kevin had something to do with it, and thought his son might get chopped up if this went down.
Maybe.
So there's he was definitely looking to Kevin for support and stuff. But I felt it was very sad for Jamie because his goal was to get in the Book of Brothers, which is like the Kingsguard's book of good deeds and stuff. Which
there's still time for him.
Yeah, well, he's not in the Kingsguard anymore, so we can't.
Well, he might be. We'll see what happens with Tommen. I think he might end up copping it. Anyway, that's a different day.
Yeah, and now, speaking of returns, Walder Frey is back in the fray. He's scolding his sons for losing River Run, which was quite amusing because he did lose it to Blackfish.
Yeah.
Baelish was not lying.
No.
The Brotherhood without banners gets a nice mention, which could lead to a storyline that people want to happen but hasn't happened yet.
Yep.
Hopefully, we'll see Beric, Forrest, and Anguy and all the fellas back in soon. Walder demands his sons take back River Run, and then, for the first time since the Red Wedding itself, Lord Edmure, played by the same actor, is brought out looking very worse for wear, and he's been up for ransom. So, will it work? Will the Freys get it back? But the Blackfish showed a lot of disdain towards Edmure because he's a fucking idiot. Remember, he couldn't set his dad's fucking boat alight, and he's the one who fucked it. He tried making a move on someone and got fucked, I think, and left him exposed.
Yeah.
So would Blackfish just let him die for the defence of River Run?
Who knows? It's weird to know what's going to go on here because there's so many kind of angles with Walder Frey, everything that's happened. I don't really know. I've got no idea. Which I kind of quite like. We don't really know what's going to happen. But I'll tell you what I did find weird, the fact that it referred to it as a Red Wedding.
Well, it is, a few people said this, but it is called Red Wedding in that universe. That's what it's known as, that event, because it's so widely known.
Okay.
Because it's like the Reigns of Castamere thing's known because it's like...
Okay.
It's the biggest house getting destroyed.
Yeah.
And that's like an event. So there's probably songs called The Red Wedding in that universe and stuff.
Yeah, probably. Okay.
So it did make sense. It'd be weird if they started calling Joffrey's wedding the Purple Wedding.
Yeah.
Because that's not in universe.
Yeah.
But I didn't have a problem with it when he mentioned it, to be honest with you. The next scene kind of links to that because Jaime is being sent to the Riverlands to help the Freys, which means we have a Brienne reunion on the cards and also Bronze Alive. We get a checking.
Oh, do you know what? That sorry about Bronn was fucking cool. Like he's living in that house he was promised. With his wife. That like they promised him before they went to Dawn, and I quite like
that. Jaime is fuming, and Cersei is being strangely cold and calculated, which leads to a theory I have in a minute.
Okay.
But she's being smart. She's telling him to go lead the army and whatnot, do what you were meant to do. She has the mountain for the trial by combat, so she'll be fine. So there's a lot of stuff here. So we're going to have, like I said, a Brienne and Jaime reunion.
Yeah.
What side will Brienne convince Jaime to fight for Sansa and the Lannisters and ignore the phrase?
No.
Do you not think she'll be able to?
No. He's tied to his sister, and I don't know. I don't think that's going to happen. But then I don't know. I mean, we don't know with Jaime. We've seen so many different sides of him. Because when he wasn't with Cersei, he was a completely different person. But I don't know. I don't think we will. But you never know.
I think he might. I think she might. I think she'll convince him to turn on the phrase. Because think in the minute, if they're laying siege at Riverrun, Brienne can't get the Blackfish and his army to the north to help. Because then they'll just lose Riverrun, or they'll get slaughtered as they walk out. So something's going to have to give, and I think if we want everything to go as we want, we have to get people up north. So I think that makes sense. It'd be a quick way to do it.
So how would she get him? Because if she, Brienne tells Jaime, look, I need these guys to head north.
Remember,
to help
Jaime
the Starks.
pledged an oath to Sansa and to Catelyn and that to do it.
Yeah,
and Brienne will remind him of that, show him oath keepers, you oath to do this.
Yeah, true. Yeah,
and I think
I forgot
Jaime's just honour's been thrown at the he's been scorned by the Kingsguard thing, so he could just say fuck it.
Fuck it, yeah, no.
Turn on the phrase that are with him.
Yeah.
And then just lead Riverrun and the Lannisters up north.
All right, yeah.
Which a Stark and Lannister reunion would be quite funny.
That would be nice.
Didn't see that coming.
No.
No. So Cersei mentions the trial by combat. She obviously has the mountain. It seems like she's too confident this is going to backfire massively. You have your theory, which we will talk about later, because I think you're probably right. But I think it'd be really fucking cool, and it wouldn't happen, if they named Tommen as their champion. Now, obviously, Tommen would have to accept it.
Yeah.
So he'd have to be brainwashed by quite a degree.
Yeah.
And I don't think he would, because he does love his mother as well.
Yeah.
But if they chose Tommen, what would Cersei do?
Fuck knows, yeah, definitely.
So
that'll be interesting, yeah, definitely.
So it's a weird one, but the prophecy is for Cersei though is that her brothers, she'll see all her children die, and then she'll be killed by a younger brother. The theory always was Tyrion, but Jaime came out a minute later or whatever. So it's all linking badly. I don't know. Maybe Cersei just loses this and gets beheaded while Jaime's not there. Jaime kills himself afterwards. There's so many links here. I think it's quite good. Now, shall we go on to my theory about what could be happening with the High Sparrow, Cersei, and everything?
Yeah.
Remember, episode 2 or episode 1, Tommen asked Cersei how to rule. And it seems like Tommen's completely flip-flopped on that sense. And he could just be, because he's that naive, he gets manipulated by everyone. But, what if all of this, all the reunion between the Crown and Marjorie playing him and High Sparrow playing him, is actually Cersei and Tommen playing them all? And Cersei's actually behind all of it with Tommen, and it's not that he's weak and naive, it's that him and his mum have been ruling together. They're going to line them all up and get rid of them all.
That'd be brilliant. That'd be brilliant.
I think that'd be a great twist, because it'd be subverting the weak thing, and it'd make him a good king, so then the polar opposite of Joffrey and stuff.
God almighty. Yeah, because we're completely, most of us wouldn't even think that. At the moment, with how things are going, so that'd be amazing. Turn of events. Yeah.
We all presume that Marjorie's planning because she's flip flopped on her last scene, rather been staying strong and stuff.
Yeah.
So what if she, this would be for him flip flopping, which would be, he's done it before, so it'd be in character. And I don't know if the show would go to this level of complexity, purposely. It's just all of us thinking it. But I think that'd be a great twist if it was in fact them all behind it, and then they just slit all the throats behind the back.
Definitely.
But we'll have to see. We'll have to see when the the trial of combat happens, which I think will be episode 10. I reckon.
Yeah.
I reckon because episode 10's like an hour and a half long.
Yeah. Right.
So it's all going to be.
Yeah.
I think it's actually 69 minutes, so like 15 minutes longer than usual. So
cool.
Interesting. Anyway, lots of stuff going on there. Like nice setup with the Riverlands. Can't wait for that next episode and all that. Anyway,
definitely.
back up north. Mira asks why he helped. The three-eyed raven sent for me. Benjamin says he lives again. So it's a title. Three-eyed raven's a title.
Yeah.
And in the after show thing with the showrunners, Wenioff said something like he's not entirely human, and there's a part of the three-eyed raven in Bran, so Bran's not entirely human now. He's something else. He moves the hood, and it is, as I rightfully said, fucking Benjen Stark. He says he was killed by a White Walker, but found by the children who saved him by making him half White Walker. So he is literally a mix of the character Cold Hands from the book, who is this mysterious half white who rides an elk. And then Benjen, after giving him a warm cup of rabbit's blood, which is not a nice tie into the hunting rabbits thing with Sam, when the Night's King will come, and when he does, you'll be there waiting for him. You will be ready. How much does Benjen know about all this, and how much more is Bran going to learn with, and what's going to happen with the rest of the season with these three journeymen?
So, I think Benjen's definitely gonna be sticking around. He'll lead them, I'm assuming, towards the wall, which could lead into bumping into the White Walkers and the Whites at the wall, which would lead to the theory of the wall being destroyed in episode 10. In regards to what's going on with the character of Benjen and Bran in terms of like Cold Hands, that kind of thing, I don't really know much about it to kind of know where that might go. But I think in terms of destination, that's where they'll end up. Maybe they'll play a part in saving it, or in kind of the, I don't know, in kind of like the downfall of it, without meaning to. I don't know. It's all kind of it's very interesting, especially with like Bran now with his visions and how that's going to play a part in it. But
well, with Bran's mark, if Bran's mark gets rid of the magic on the wall, that would kind of suggest that Benjen would be allowed to go back.
Yes,
be able to go back through as well as the Horde of the Undead.
Yeah.
So if they have one on their side, that's better than nothing. Who has obviously has a connection to the children and everything, which still goes to my theory of there's children of the forest in the neck, and Howland Reed's going to play a big part in some way if he isn't the High Sparrow.
Yeah.
But yeah, cool stuff. Get hyped.
Yeah.
Because
and it's just good to see him again. He's just a good character. He's just and it's good to
someone
see.
we haven't seen since 2011. I think it is.
It's good to see another powerful Stark.
Yeah, it is,
back.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're back in.
Really good.
I mean, it's just good to see. It's just like a nice conclusion to a massive mystery, and like how they don't need to leave that thread hanging like they could well do in the book. I think TV shows need to be a bit more. I know this is meant to be different, but I'd less like TV to be a bit more tightly knitted together, so to speak.
Definitely.
Anyway, next up we're going to the last scene, and Danny and Dario. Now this line was shit. Like, there's no two ways about it. It was fucking shit. It's really ham-fisted stuff. How he says, "You'll need about 1,000 ships." Oh, that's convenient.
Fucking hell! I know.
That was really for Game of Thrones. That was pretty atrocious. Like, he could have just said, "Fucking Lord's love," like more. And it's just like, who even has that much? No one yet.
No.
Oh, roll eyes. Yeah. Anyway. Danny senses something and goes behind a rock, presumably feeds her horse to the dragon lying in wait to get him in check, and she rides Drogon around, comes to the front and does quite an emotional, quite inspiring speech. And Drogon is fucking big.
He's a bastard, isn't he? Like he's
only still a baba, still a teenager. This kid, like my days. If he's like the biggest ever was Balerion the Dread, I want to say he's the guy who forged the Iron Throne and stuff like that. and he's a fucking tank of a fucking dragon. So maybe if he gets to that size, like, she's going to conquer the Seven Kingdoms. Well, if there's anything left for it to conquer.
Yeah.
But it seems like she's determined to leave now. Like, I think people will be bemoaning the necessity of the speech, but I think it was more of getting the Dothraki. Like, you can only make an impression with a dragon once, and by doing that, you like say, "Are you going to follow me across the Iron Sea?" Which is something they don't do. I think it was kind of necessary speech, even if it was felt a little bit tacked on. But I thought it was.
I liked it.
When I first watched it, I thought the speech itself was a good way to end.
Yeah,
it's like sets up her leaving this episode. Like this season could end with the the wall coming down, and Dany finally on the ships, finally with the dragons flying over. So the ice and fire finally set up.
Oh, definitely. I think the speech itself was just it kind of built on everything that had happened so far this season, and like all those frustrations, everything that she's been trapped in this with the Dothrakis, and it's kind of built a lot up inside of her, and she just kind of got it out because that speech was just so fierce and she was so aggressive in it. It was just brilliant, and these Dothraki now are fully behind her to kind of cross the seas to Westeros. So I think it's definitely going to be kind of last episode situation where she will end up being on some boats heading to Westeros.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and that's
really good.
So I think people are also moaning about how she suddenly got control of Drogon, and I've read an interesting thing that I think worthy of mention. Is that dragons are intelligent. So maybe, and Drogon's obviously a special dragon. He's big. He's obviously probably higher intelligent. So the theory was like maybe Drogon knew what Dany had to do. She knew she had to get her army. Knew she had to like do stuff for herself.
Yeah.
So maybe he dropped her off there purposefully, and didn't let him come back on and stuff like that. And then now she's ready. He's come back to her, and they have this connection. And she's like, boom, they're sorted now.
Yeah, totally. I mean, dragons are smart. We all know that. There's definitely a good chance that he knew what had to be done. So it just makes sense. I didn't really think too much about it. I didn't see like that much wrong with it. It seemed perfect to make perfect sense to me for him to come back. So yeah.
Do you know what would be cool? If Tyrion designs dragon saddles like he designed the horse saddle for Bran.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Anyway, that's the end of the episode. Like I said, a lot to talk about and discuss, but no massive moments. But a lot of really nice revelations and returns.
Yeah.
And like the news, they've introduced a whole new plotline at episode 6 with the Riverland stuff, and it's all really good. I was very impressed with this episode.
Yeah, very.
Now, we're going to talk about unless you've got any final thoughts or theories or anything.
So my thought that I wanted to mention about Arya, which we didn't talk about. We don't have to talk about it because I don't really want to talk about it because of the books and stuff, and people might not want to. So what I will say is, if you don't listen for 10 seconds, I'm just going to tell you what I think, and then we'll just go into next week's. So if you just don't listen for 10 seconds from now, I think Arya gets the mask of Caitlyn, and the Lady Stoneheart will be fulfilled through Arya, maybe.
That'd be an interesting...
Yeah, and she goes back, slices the phrase, and anyone associated with it.
The only problem is she'd be recognised.
Maybe. I don't know. It was just something I read and I kind of quite liked it. It would be a way to bring that character back. But yeah, that was it.
I will just say, as theory with... Well, we'll get into it. Now. So yeah, I do like that. That's an interesting thing, and this will lead on to something which is going to happen next week. Now, so we're going to talk about next week's episode, The Broken Man. This is going to be theory heavy this week. So if you don't want to know anything about potentially could happen with potentially returning characters and stuff, please tune out now. Don't kill me if I've ruined something for you. And we're also going to be talking about the 40-second this week, big chunk, of preview stuff on next week's episode. So please tune out now if you don't waste. Thanks for listening. See you later. But we're talking about next episode now. And next episode, next week, is called The Broken Man. Now, Jaime is at Riverrun, and Blackfish looks bad fucking ass. He's got the Tully armour is great with the fish scales.
Yeah.
And Jaime's looking cool too. He's got Tywin's armour, the same type of armour and everything. He looks cool. We're all looking badass. Blackfish says the war is not over as long as he's still standing. That's obviously I think the start of the episode is going to be Jamie trying to be peaceful, say the war's over, give up, and he's like, no, it's not, mate.
Yeah.
And also the Frey, I think it's Blackwalder, I think that's what he's called, Frey, or maybe even Rivers, I don't know if he's a bastard or not,
right.
has Edmure Tully at knife point. So yeah, what do you think will happen? Do you think Blackfish will let him die, like as I asked earlier? I don't know. There's a lot of ways this could go.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's a good chance he might let him die. It's just I give up with the Riverlands. There's so much has happened down there. It'd be interesting to see what happens with this week's episode. So at the moment, I have no idea. I mean, what do you think?
I don't know. I do think he could let him die. You know, just like, sorry, Edmure, but this is more important. This is the family. This is the survival of the family. But I could also see Jamie just stabbing him in the back, stabbing that guy in the back,
possibly,
and getting rid of all the Freys in one go. And I think that'd be very satisfying to see Jamie go full face and be on our side.
Yeah.
What knows what, and it just depends on how he feels as Cersei and betraying the Lannister. He's the head of the Lannister. He's like, because he's not in the Kingsguard anymore. No. He can have titles and have children and hold lands. So he's the head of the Lannister house now, and the Lord of Casterly Rock and all that jazz.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see what he does, because that Lannister arm is loyal to what he says. So it'd be good to see what happens in that regard.
Yeah, definitely.
Bronn's back.
Yes.
And they look quite shocked as they look across the battlefield, and I think it's pretty obvious he's just seen Brienne and Podrick.
Yeah.
And he's going to run over and get Pod in the headlock, and Brienne and Jamie are going to have an emotional reunion.
Yeah.
And I think that's what will make him go on their side and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that's all the Riverland. Well, most of the Riverland. We will come back later. Olenna is laying the smackdown to Cersei about Ancient House is falling to collapse, and it is her stupidity who made it happen. Why do you think they're speaking?
I don't know. Why do you think they're speaking?
I don't know. I was thinking...
It's just so. It's just so kind of ambiguous at the moment to what could possibly happen. What brought them together? Why? I mean,
it'd be funny if the
she
just gets the mountain to stab her in the back and cut her head off.
But I just think she doesn't. I think Olenna doesn't know what's going on with Marjorie, because how would she have got in contact with her for starters?
Well, exactly. Well, she's probably scared that she's been turned when she's actually
exactly. So maybe that's why. I don't know. It just. I think she's just, for the first time, she's scared and she doesn't know what's going on. She's always kind of been this knowledgeable kind of figurehead in the Tyrell family that now she doesn't quite know, and she doesn't know what to do.
Yeah. Now, I think we're going to get next episode Jon, Davos, Sansa, Tormund, etc. A montage of them recruiting the North, because they're definitely at House Mormont and House Glover, meeting quite a menacing looking lord.
Yeah.
Now, Sansa's saying, I did what I did to survive, I will always be a Stark. I think it's obvious that someone is questioning why she married the Lannisters and then the Boltons.
Yeah.
And she's defending herself, sticking up for herself, as she's doing these days.
Yeah.
And then Tormund is convincing the Wildlings to, defend them, and I think he'll probably win them over, probably.
Yeah.
Now, I want to talk about House Mormont briefly. Remember in the first episode of season 5, or maybe a bit later on, when Stannis is trying to convince Jon to join him and be legitimised, the Mormonts send a letter to Stannis saying the Mormonts only know one king, and there's the King of the North, whose name is Stark.
Yeah.
So they're obviously pretty loyal. They're going to be on that side. And there's also theories in the book that Robb named his heir to the Winterfell and everything, and in a letter, and apparently told Maggie Mormont, who is I think it's Jorah's sister, who's because basically Bear Island meant to produce these big bear like shield maiden women type thing, and Maggie is one of them. She's the one we saw at King of the North crowning stuff.
Right. Okay.
So there's a theory that maybe she knows that Jon is been legitimised as the North, and Sansa's writing a letter. Maybe that's her legitimising Robert and Jon as well.
Yeah.
So maybe Jon becomes an actual Stark, and it's like, episode 9 is called Battle of the Bastards, and it's Battle of the Bastards who are no longer bastards.
Yeah.
Which would be funny. But I think, if I'm right in saying, I think the head of the Mormont house at the minute might be a young girl. So it's interesting. There's loads of Mormont daughters who are apparently really good in the books, and everyone's excited to see them. So hopefully we do.
Cool.
House Glover, I don't know. I think House Glover might be the one who's being quite oppressive about it.
Definitely.
And we might see House Manderley as well, who are from White Harbour.
Right.
They're the ones who they don't know if they've declared for the Boltons or not yet.
Right. Okay.
But they're like the third biggest Northern house. So we'll see. And then we have Davos laying down his great speech about the dead are coming, which has me a bit concerned because he's doing that speech at House Mormont, and the Mormonts are loyal. So why would the Mormonts need this grand speech?
Don't know. Maybe it's not just the Mormonts that are there. Maybe
there is a theory that Jorah could be there.
Maybe there's some other kind of family there, or some other character that needs it. I don't know. But yeah, I think it's finally good to see that speech happen, and I think it'll be placed well. It'll be war. No, that's all. I was just saying that there's purpose for that speech. I think it won't be just to the Mormons.
Yeah, it'll be great. It'll be great. It's a great to have a speech. I don't know. I'd like to know why he needs to give it in that house. What side of this battle is Peter going to be on? Because I think he distinctly says at some point it's time to enter the fray or re-enter the fray. And obviously that is a normal saying, but it's also pretty indicative of a certain house in this world.
Well, we'll see. I guess.
What side he's going to be on? Surely he's going to sweep on and be in Sansa's.
Oh, I can't see why I wouldn't. I think it'd be silly not to, and then for them to win, and then for Bran to, reveal about. Yeah. So that makes sense.
There's lots of good stuff happening here. I like it, and the North's been great this year. Anyway, are you ready for the big one?
Go on.
Did you happen to see a pair of mystery footsteps in this next on?
No.
Did you not see it? There was in between snippets of Davos doing his speech and Sansa looking concerned amongst the wildlings. There is a conspicuous pair of shoes, legs, walking amongst a load of dead bodies.
Oh, I can't remember.
If you're still listening to this, and you don't want any theories or anything that could definitely happen next episode, please, I beg of you, turn away now. Alright. Remember your theory about Ian McShane and a certain dog?
Yes.
These footprints, legs I should say, remember when we said that we thought Ian McShane was going to play a person called Bloodraven? It dawned on me that's incorrect. Bloodraven is the third-eyed raven. Three-eyed raven. Ian McShane is going to be playing this is the theory of the Gravedigger. And Ian McShane will probably be playing this Gravedigger.
Right, okay.
He's not been revealed who he'll play because it'll give it away. I reckon these footprints walking amongst the dead is this said Gravedigger. And I think, because his footsteps have come out of Davos saying the dead are coming, is Gravedigger going to fulfill his prophecy and his theory and bring back the Hound or Lady Stoneheart? I don't think he brings back Stoneheart because I think that's more to do with the Brotherhood without banners.
Yeah, no,
and all that jazz.
I think I'll still stay by the fact that it'll be the Hound with him.
This episode is also called The Broken Man. It could be about Loras. It could be about Sam. It could be about Randall being broken, about his sword being gone. But it could be about Jaime not knowing what to do. Could be about Edmure getting cut. Could be about Blackfish getting broken at the siege.
Could be about the Hound being broken after his fight.
But it could be the Hound being broken and the broken man being brought back to life.
That'd be fucking cool.
Ian McShane is in the next episode.
Right.
According to IMDb, who did correctly predict that Joseph Marley would be in this episode, who plays Benjen Stark.
Okay, cool.
What was your theory that he'll fight the Mountain in the thingy?
I did think it would be either him or Arya. But then the way the episode's gone, that was thrown out weeks ago. But so it could definitely be the Hound, which would be amazing.
My only concern over this theory about the Hound fighting against the Mountain for the crown is who at the crown, who at this area now where Thingy is, the Hound will be, would want the Hound to fight for the Thingy. Like, how does the Hound get from where he is?
I don't know.
To King's Landing?
I don't know. That's the kind of thing, isn't it?
Unless the Gravedigger, like you say, is connected to the Thief in some way.
Possibly. It's interesting.
It's all interesting stuff, isn't it? There's also the scene that I forgot to mention, actually, of the Greyjoys at Volantis. Now, Yara says something about going to getting revenge or whatever on Euron.
Yeah.
But will they, like I said, will they end up going to Dany? And my theory on this is they'll go to Dany, warn him about Euron. He's coming with these ships, but he's a dickhead. Don't side with him. And then Dany will end up doing this thing where she says she gives him a test to like meet his children, and if the dragons accept you, then you can, and then they just burn him alive.
Fuck me, that'd be cool.
She has all the ships,
and then she goes.
But Yara and Theon are like the ship captains.
Yeah, I think that'd be amazing, and that'd give real purpose to Theon, which would be awesome to see.
The only downside is it'd fucking completely minimise Euron to absolutely nothing.
I know, but then he's just like he has been good, but I wouldn't miss him like if he went like that. It makes sense to use him in that way. It doesn't seem like he's going to be around forever. It doesn't feel like he should be. I think if anything, you should have Theon and Yara back to lead the Greyjoys. But whether it'll happen with Dany, I don't know. But yeah, I wouldn't miss him at this point.
Okay. So that's that episode of the next episode of Broken Eye. Do you want me to tell you what the names of the last 3 episodes are called?
Yeah.
Episode 8 is entitled No One.
Right.
Which would be pretty indicative of Arya and the Waves having a fight.
Yes. Yeah.
Episode 9 is called The Battle of the Bastards.
Yep.
Now, I can't possibly imagine what that will entail.
Oh my god. Right.
And looking at IMDb castings, there's the only casting we don't know in this is Umber Soldier, so that doesn't give much away.
Okay.
And episode 10 is called The Winds of Winter. The title of the next book that is yet to be released.
The Winds of Winter.
And the guy who plays Ed Tollett is in it, which would suggest the wall is coming back. It's coming down, I'm telling you.
Oh.
Any thoughts on those titles and what we could be seeing, apart from the obvious?
No, exactly what you just said. I think it's going to be Arya heavy next week. We'll find out where she wants to go, whether she will want to pursue the list or not after stabbing the waif in the heart, which I really want to happen because she's been a twat. And then the bastards will be clearly the fight between them, which will give time for Snow and the Starks to win. Ramsay's not going to die. I don't think he's too valuable to the show.
You don't think he's going to die? I don't think he is. Now, I think this season and the start of next season, I think they could literally get rid of most of the subplots and get rid of any petty villains because Dany and the White Walkers are coming, and Dany's going to end up being a big villain as well in some way. I think she's going to end up being a tyrant.
Yeah.
Like a dad, and I think she's bringing over 100,000 Dothraki who would literally just rape and pillage the whole place. I think we've got 2 big bads coming. I think you need the minions out the way when you fight the bosses. If you get me,
yeah, definitely.
So,
and then
a lot of interesting stuff.
The last episode, I think we're right with the wall, which is gonna be sad, and I think Ed's gonna die.
I don't know. I like Ed.
I do, but that doesn't mean anything in Game of Thrones, does it?
Absolutely not. Anyway, that has been I think this has been episode 7 of Geek of Thrones, as we talked about episode 6 of Game of Thrones. It's all very confusing, there's too many G's in it. Thank you for your listening. Man, we've gone on for quite a while, considering I thought this would be a quick hour episode, but alas, there's a lot to talk about. Man. As I said, this is Geek. Oh, fuck me, too many G's. This is GodisaGeek's Game of Thrones podcast, and you can go over to GodisaGeek.com for what we actually do, which is write about video games in all their splendour. You can go to youtube.com/GodisaGeek. It's for all our video game videos. Yeah, go to Twitter for @GodisaGeek and Facebook.com/GodisaGeek for that type of jazz. And also Patreon.com/GodisaGeek. Throw us a couple of quid if you would be so kind. And that helps us do even more content for your ears and your eyes, and sometimes both at the same time. Oh, you can't get that for value. You can follow me on Twitter @Mabroski, and you can follow Chris on Twitter @ThirstAvenger83. And if there's not I've messed my outro up. If there's nothing left to say, Chris, I guess it's time to say goodbye.
Goodbye, everybody, and thanks for listening.
Yeah, thank you very much. And it's goodbye from me. C'est la vie.